And so let me start by addressing the problem in classic physique. They're going by a height to weight standard that's arbitrarily been assigned to all of the competitors. And this height to weight favors the taller competitors, in particular, those above 6'1" and under 6'2".
We took a look and realized that one height grouping had a little bit of an advantage over other height groups. This height grouping is over 6'1" and up to and including 6'2".
The IFBB finally listened to Coach Greg. Coach Greg, and huge announcement in the classic physique world. The weight classes, they've all changed.
Hi everyone, Tyler Mannion here, NPC and IFBB Pro League Vice President. We took a look and realized that one height grouping had a little bit of an advantage over other height groups. This height grouping is over 6'1" and up to and including 6'2". The weight jump from the previous weight goes up by 10 pounds.
They analyzed the data and said, wow, he has a significant advantage. For his height, suddenly he adds 10 pounds. The other divisions, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 pounds. And so why all of a sudden at 6'1" is it a magic weight? All of a sudden you need to have 10 more pounds added to your body. And so I've been saying this for years. My video's aging real well this time. And so the IFBB finally listened to Coach Greg. It's about time.
Over 6'1" and up to and including 6'2". The weight jump from the previous weight goes up by 10 pounds.
And so lo and behold, turns out I'm 100% right.
All the middle height classes and every other height class basically goes up by either 7 or 8 pounds.
And so my weight class, over 5'6", under 5'7", they've added 7 pounds. Remember I said it wasn't fair, couldn't compete with the likes of Chris Bumstead and others because they were taller? Well, they added 7 pounds to my weight class. Why? Because it wasn't fair. The weight classes were screwed so that if you were between 6'1" and 6'2", you had a significant advantage over your opponents. And so what does this mean? I mean, after all, it doesn't matter to Coach Greg. I haven't competed in years, but you know who this matters to the most? Irvs Kalevsky and Ramon Dino. These guys were at a significant disadvantage because of their heights. They weren't over 6'2", they're under 6 feet tall. And so they were giving up close to 20 pounds of muscle to Chris Bumstead, but no more. They said that is not fair and they've upped their weight classes. And so now Irvs does not have to diet off all that muscle. He can compete bigger than last time. And Ramon, Dino, and Irvs, they can now weigh 227 pounds. And so they finally made it fair in classic physique. And so I do believe this coming competition, it's going to be much closer than last time. In previous years, Chris was a runaway winner. The odds-on favorite, perhaps 100-1, that he was going to lose. But now that the class have shifted, the smaller competitors can add a significant amount of muscle and come in the show looking bigger than last time. And remember, for the amateur categories, they are still going to be 10 pounds lighter than the pros. That's to make up for the fact that in the amateur ranks, they want the athletes to be able to continue to put on size.
Will the amateur and NPC worldwide weights go up? The answer is yes. They will all be 10 pounds less than these new pro weights. Those will be the new amateur weights for classic.
You win your pro card, and now you can then add 10 pounds more muscle and compete as a pro. And if you never thought that classic physique could ever overtake open bodybuilding, well, it's about to happen right now. They've added 7 pounds to my weight class. I could literally compete at 192 pounds. And so imagine if I could compete in classic physique looking at my best. I easily could have made 192 pounds. I literally was close to 192 pounds on stage when I won my IFBB Pro card. And so why even have regular bodybuilding? I mean, after all, I had trained for years, was not even natural, and the biggest I got was the limit of the men's classic physique category. And so despite training for 30 plus years, with all the things I've done, at my biggest, I still could have made it into that weight class. And so why would I ever even bother to try to compete in open bodybuilding? And so what we're going to now see is classic physique competitors, they're going to get even bigger. And so a guy like Breon Zansley, former Mr. Olympia champion, perhaps he comes back into classic physique.
And I hear the news that they are upping the shorter heights in classic by 7 pounds. So that does make a difference for me, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely. It would be an entirely different look for me. on stage.
And now that they've added this much weight to shorter competitors, why would shorter competitors bother to compete in, for example, men's middleweight and light heavy and so on? Up to including 5'4", 177 pounds. If you're a 5'4" and you weigh 177 pounds shredded, you're a monster. And at 5'6", 192 pounds, perhaps 5% body fat or less, you are a monster. Guys like the Trend Twins, why would they want to compete in light heavy when they could clearly compete at 192? The weight cap for light heavyweight is 198 pounds. Why would anyone in their right mind compete at 198 pounds when they could diet down an extra 6 pounds and compete in classic physique? And so what I'm going to see is practically everyone is now going to compete in classic physique. Well, anyone with a pretty physique. The difference is going to be guys that don't look aesthetic. They don't have quality muscles, the shape, the V-taper, the wide shoulders, the small waist, the flaring thighs. They're going to compete in regular bodybuilding. Why? Well, because they don't look classic. But who doesn't want to look classic? Who doesn't want to look like Chris Bumstead? And so with every single category going up in weight and some up to 7 pounds, such as my division, what do you think that's going to do to the competitors? They're going to have to get bigger. Why? Well, bigger is better, right? And how do you think they're going to get bigger? By training harder than last time? Or by supplementing harder than last time? How many people do you think are now going to abuse steroids even more? And so what would I do? How could we actually help the sport grow to make it safer? We would reduce all the weight classes. That's right. Remember in the amateurs, they have to weigh 10 pounds less than in the pros? Why not keep it that way? Why are we now saying you need to gain 10 pounds to compete as a pro? And so by lowering the weight limits, it would encourage people to abuse fewer drugs. I've stated in the past, why not have a drug-tested category? But if we can't have that, would it not be okay to have another category where the weight caps are even slightly lower? And so perhaps they need to do this. Perhaps have one classic physique division with higher weight caps, for the mass monsters of the world, and another category, perhaps 20 pounds lighter, for guys who don't want to abuse steroids, who simply want to look aesthetic, have the wide shoulders, small waist, and so on, but not want to abuse steroids. And so think of it, 192 pounds at my height. That is a monster. I literally won the Canadian Nationals weighing approximately 192 pounds. And so to say this is now the limit for classic physique, well, that's pretty much allowing almost all bodybuilders to enter this division. But if they were to lower that weight class by 20 pounds, 5'6", 172 pounds, would guys not look aesthetic? At 26 years of age, weighing in at 157 pounds, you can see me here doing my side tricep pose, 100% natural. 100% natural, not taking anything. You can debate me if you want, but I know, and everyone who knows me knows, that was 100% natural. And it's 157 pounds. Do you not think that that looks aesthetic? Could that not compete in classic physique? But it's 157. The weight limit is 192. That's 35 pounds under the weight class. And so how do you think you're going to put on 35 pounds of muscle from that? And should you really have to? I don't think so. Why can't there be a weight class 157 under? Was that not aesthetic enough? Would that not be a physique that you could aspire to achieve one day with training harder than the last time by being natural? And so why not add in another category? The Beach Body Classic Physique Division for guys that don't want to abuse steroids. It would be highly marketable. The majority of people could look at those physique and say, hey, if I train for 10, maybe 20 years, I could look like that. When you look at Chris Bumstead, sure, you admire his physique. It's amazing. But how many of us think we can actually end up looking like Chris Bumstead? Perhaps 1 in a million at most. And so why not add another division? How could that hurt the sport? More people would enter the competition. They would have a fighting chance to win. Guys who are 100% natural, and they could enter the lighter category classic physique. And so reading through the comments, I can't see one negative comment going against this. Everyone is in favor. Famous bodybuilders, classic physique, all the top Olympians, everyone is enjoying this. Chris Bumstead has not said anything as of yet, but I'm sure he welcomes fair and equal competition among everyone. And what's next on the horizon in the IFBB? Well, they plan on setting weight caps for men's physique competitors. And remember, that might be a short-term fix, but what it's really going to do is force men's physique competitors to stop training their legs. The legs, the largest muscles in the human body, and so if you stop training them, you're going to lose significant amount of mass. Think of it, I'm 5'6" and I weigh close to 190 pounds, but I'm not all that big. When I stand next to other competitors, they seem to look a lot bigger. But if you look at my thighs, bike racing and so on, I have monstrous legs. And so a lot of the weight is in my legs. If I were to stop training my legs completely, I perhaps could lose 10 or 15 pounds and still compete in men's physique. And so guys who can't make the men's physique weight class, they're simply going to stop training their legs. And so why are we encouraging guys to stop training their legs? I don't like that idea. I personally believe judges should just score them according to what they think they should look like. If a guy stands there and they're too big, you mark them down. It's not complicated. And so why keep rewarding the largest and leanest competitors in men's physique if that's not the look that we're going for? Why can't we reward that in bodybuilding and perhaps in classic physique? In men's physique, go for a smaller look. It's not complicated. Tell the judges this is how we want you to judge. Don't worry if they're the biggest guy on stage. Pick the body that you like. And so let me know in the comments section, did you see this coming? Do you now believe that Coach Greg knows what he's talking about? Watch my old videos. I specifically talked exactly about this over and over again. I said, IPB, listen to Coach Greg. And so perhaps they finally seen my videos and they thought, wow, he knows what he's talking about. And so to the IPB, all of you, please reach out to me if you want to have any questions. I talk to all the athletes, judges, and so on. I know what the people want. I'm more than happy to help in any way possible. And don't forget, for any of the stuff you see in the background or in my garage, you've seen the mannequins holding up the supplements, the cookbooks, everything. Code Greg is 10% off. And if you have no money, it's okay. I give you a free diet and training program. It's close to 50 pages. Head over to the website, first and last name and email address coming to you absolutely free. Subscribe, click the bell button, like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to watch any of those 2 bloops. And of course, cookbooks, training books, coaching plans by me and my team, the Circle diet book, the Harder Than Last Time clothing line. Code Greg 10% off. And until next time, I am out.